I have recently turned 27, and as much as I'm still in my 20s, it feels like I am past the hump of the 20s, you know? What I'm talking about is the period where you are constantly anxious about, what should I do with my life, and, how to organize myself, what's the right thing to do. I still have these questions, don't get me wrong, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who have these questions still in their 30s, in their 40s, hell, in their 50s. But there is a difference to how I felt even just a couple of years ago. And I think the hardest part about that time, and it's weird because it's so like I've always almost forgotten about that period of my life, because I just have a better sense of direction and purpose. And it's not to say that it just came about. I have worked hard to get here, in a sense of, trying to different things and failing in them, and then trying again, and finally, even though I'm still not good at it, feeling like I'm on the right path. And that feeling is the only thing you really need, right? Even if you're not doing the right thing, whatever that means, as long as you're feeling like you're moving somewhere and it's purposeful and it's got a sense of direction, that's when you stop feeling that constant anxiety and all these questions in your head all the time. And what I find is the hardest part about that time of your life, like early 20s, is, and it could be true for people not just in their 20s, but the hardest part about it isn't the questions themselves, and it isn't the anxiety. It is the fact that you have no support. Because I feel like teenagers in general, and that time period of like, I'm not a child anymore, but I don't feel like an adult yet. And it could be far beyond being teenager, it could be in your early 20s, still feeling this way. I think a big part of it is because we feel alone, and we feel like we don't have anyone to, just rest our head on, kind of thing. Our parents, and in general our culture, we don't welcome teenagers and that period of the life where I don't know what I'm doing, because either you're a child or you're supposed to have it all figured out, and there's like no in between. And that's insane. And we don't have space for that. And so people either stay childlike their whole life, or they create a fake sense of direction and a fake identity, and they go into these careers that they don't really like, and they don't fulfill them on a deep level, but they just say, I'm just going to do this because this is going to be what I do. And to be honest, it's kind of better than being the opposite of being the childlike self, because at least you're doing something and you're moving towards something. Because being in the state of a child, you are confused the same way as the other person, but nothing is happening in your life, because I think that sense of inertia and movement, even if you don't know really what you're doing, or if it's not fulfilling you, it's still moving you somewhere. I think the worst possible place in life is when you feel stagnant and stuck and you're doing nothing, because that really perpetuates anxiety and depression big time. But the questions, what am I doing really with my life, is still the same. And again, as I said, we don't have in our society the space for that exploration. And that is the hardest part, feeling like you're failing, feeling like you are being left behind because everyone seems to be doing something and I'm not, right? And I still haven't figured it out. And the only difference that I feel now, even though I still doubt myself, and I still have these sorts of maybe I'm not on the right track, it's lessened, and the differentiating factor is just that I have decided that this is my path right now. That ownership aspect has been really, really beneficial to my mental state. Because instead of looking for what I'm supposed to be doing, instead of looking for the answers and thinking there's some way out there and I just need to find them, and when I find them it'll just click, or I don't even know what I expected, and I don't know if you know what you expect from looking for the answers out there. But I was looking for some kind of, moment of like, oh, it just clicks and now I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And it doesn't come. But what does come is you doing something for so long that at some point you're like, well, I'm just way too deep in this now, and I'm just going to keep going because I know I enjoy it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been so deep in it. And I'm not talking about, the part that I described before where you just, you have your career which doesn't really fulfill you. I'm talking about if you already have certain hobbies, if you're doing something that fulfills you, but you haven't really taken it to that step yet where it's your job, or it's something you're making money from, and it's something you're just doing for a living. You know that you enjoy something and you've put a lot of time into it. And that was my case, right? That's how I came to this point. I've spent a lot of time studying something and therapy specifically, and all of these, relating notions. And I thought, well, I clearly like this. And so I'm going to try and do something with it. And then when you put more risk into that and you invest more money and more time and education into it, it's like this is the confirmation that this is your thing. That is the confirmation. Your involvement in something is the confirmation that it is the right thing. Your involvement and also how fulfilled you are by it, right? So that's kind of what gave me that sense of it's okay, I'm in the right place in life, even if it's not really working out, even if I'm struggling, even if it's really, really hard and I procrastinate. And it's like the fact that it's hard doesn't mean that I'm in the wrong place. In fact, it probably means that I'm in the right place, because we need difficulties to make us grow, right? So ask yourself, what confirmation am I looking for to know that I am in the right place, I'm doing the right thing, whether it's with my money or with my career or my relationships? Like, what confirmation am I looking for? Because truly the only confirmation will be how satisfied you are. And it's not about, how little difficulties you have. It's about when I am doing it, does it bring me a sense of peace, happiness, contentment, fulfillment, like I'm doing something good for the world, like I'm doing something good for myself. Does it do that for you? And what was the other thing? Oh, and your involvement in it, really, yeah. So if you've been doing something for a long time, like let's say you've been photographing, you're a photographer and it's your hobby and you've been doing that for a long time, and you love it, that's probably your thing. And you might want to keep it as a hobby, and that's fine. But if you are on the path of, I don't know what to do with my life, do that thing, do the photography, because you're already involved in it, you already love it. So just push yourself to do more with it. Push yourself to be seen and start making money from it. And you will have a lot of hurdles and difficulties, mental, physical, circumstantial, but it's already a sign that you are on the right path. And that's really what helped me on my journey to being a little bit more content and not having so much anxiety around, what am I supposed to do with my life? And remember that you deciding something now, like, let's say you are really into photography, you're already doing it and you're already enjoying it, and it's already fulfilling you. But you're just, scared to make that step to make it a profitable business or whatever. If you decide now that this is your thing and this is your purpose and this is what you want to do, if you decide, right, you make that conscious choice, it doesn't mean it will be like this for the rest of your life. It could be, But it may well take you 5 years to really develop and really blossom in this work and love it. And then after 5 years, you might feel, I'm ready to move on. And that's okay. And if you have that thing already that you know brings you that fulfillment and you are really involved in it, give it your best shot. And it's really a subjective thing. You need to decide for yourself, have I given this my best shot? This is going to be, you in your own mind deciding that. But really give it your best shot. And remember that if you're procrastinating on that thing, so you might say, well, I've given it my best shot and I just can't seem to, do it. Like when I sit down to do it, I just can't seem to bring myself to do it. So I'm procrastinating. So maybe I've given my best shot and it's just not my thing anymore. Procrastination is a sign that this thing that you're trying to do is really, really, really important to you. And that is because when we procrastinate, it happens because our minds are scared of the risk of what if it doesn't work out? If it doesn't work out, I'd rather not try. I'd rather not try in the first place because I can't bear the idea of it not working out. So if you're procrastinating, it means that it's important to you, and that's a good sign. And then you can, work with a therapist to understand or go through different, techniques of working through procrastination to really understand, why am I procrastinating over this and how do I make it work? And I can help you with that, by the way. I'm a therapist and I'm actually developing a program right now where I help people specifically with procrastination. And so that's, again, it's like the fact that something is difficult doesn't mean that it's not the right thing. It's, again, the same principle. But then there is another question: what if I don't know what I enjoy and what brings me fulfillment and I'm not really involved with anything? Well, the only thing that can help you with that is going out there and trying. Okay? And I actually have a video that I made, 2 years ago, on how to figure out what you enjoy, finding your joy. And one of the amazing questions that helped me, because I was an avid reader back then, it was, what could I read 1,000 books on and not get bored? And for me, it was self-development and spirituality and all those things. And so I was like, okay, well, if I can spend a long time reading 1,000 books, that is my involvement, right? So you can ask yourself that. And if you don't know the answer to that, then go to a library or a bookshop, or just go online into an Audible store and download books and buy books and read books, or watch YouTube videos. I mean, maybe there's something that, you can apply this to watching YouTube or listening to podcasts. What is it that you love to learn about? And that you could learn about, you could sit 1,000 hours and learn about something and you wouldn't get bored. And that will kind of guide you to that answer. There is a few other exercises I did in that video, which I can't quite remember now. But there is prompts that you can think about to figure out what is it that I actually care about enough to involve myself into. Enough that my brain will make me procrastinate because I want this thing so bad that the risk of not having it or failing at it will make me not do it, will make me sabotage myself, right? And then you have to work with someone to work through these barriers, because when you do, oh my God, the benefit, the gift on the other side of that work is, you will develop such love and appreciation and respect for yourself for going through this journey. I cannot describe it to you. It's something that you can just experience. So I think I'll stop it here. I hope it helped to understand. So the main points were, to calm this inner questioning mind that is constantly asking you, am I doing the right thing? Am I spending my money right? Am I doing this? Am I doing that? I mean, firstly, just try, Just try things out. Don't be scared to explore, experiment, take your time. If there is something, if we're talking specifically about, what you should do in terms of your work, or how you spend, what you do for your living, then find a thing that you can invest yourself into in terms of your, maybe money, but mostly time and energy, and something that will make you feel fulfilled. Find that thing, and you can find that thing using exercises that I've provided in a long time ago video. and I'm sure there's other resources, many resources online that you can use for that. So find that thing that will make you fulfilled and that you can involve yourself in. Maybe there's already such a thing there. And when you do find that, do it to the best of your capacity. Give it your best shot. Give it your best shot. And know for yourself, I've done all I could, I've done my best. And if you meet obstacles on the way, it doesn't mean that it's the wrong thing. It just means that you care about it enough to feel that you're risking losing it, or you're scared of failing at it. And that's a good sign. It's a horrible feeling, but it's a good sign, and you can work through that with a therapist, with a coach, whoever. You can find resources out there to help you move through that pattern of sabotaging yourself, procrastinating, whatever else you're doing as your pattern of avoiding achieving that thing. So thank you so much for watching this. I really do hope it helped, and you can find that peace in yourself, and that anxious mind will start calming down when you just start doing things and moving in a direction. It doesn't matter yet which direction it is, just move in a direction. And as you're moving, you will discover things. And as you discover things, you'll learn more about yourself. And the more you learn about yourself, the more clarity you gain about yourself and in yourself. And you feel that inner support and inner guidance starting to speak to you more and more. And that's all we really need, especially in a society where, again, we don't feel so much support in this journey on the outside from our parents, from society in general. It's not really welcome to not know what to do, not know who you are. There isn't space for that. In this kind of space, you can still find stillness and peace when you develop a relationship with yourself. And that's kind of the end goal, to learn about yourself and have a relationship with yourself that is deeply nourishing and makes you happy. Thank you very much again, and I will see you again soon.